Hey everybody, I'm John Reidy, and this is another dark entry in the dark carnival that is my twisted. I like that theme music. Royalty free, copyright free music. It's great. Thanks for being here. Last week went very well, so I figured I would do another one. And get my thoughts out there, get some dark entries into the world. Welcome back, and got a few things to talk about. I'm trying something new tonight. I've got my notes on another tab, and I'm going to click over to that because last week I had written it all down, which I usually do, and I could not see it very well by the end. So I have something a little bit better to do that. And so we're just going to get into it and talk about a couple things. I got a lot to talk about, which is great. I'm having some delicious Coors Banquet beers, which are very good. And that brings up my first topic. Last week I touched on my smell. I had a smell problem going on, and I'll try to make this brief because it's really long and complicated. But it does involve a beer like Coors Banquet. Back in early April, maybe late March, I got really sick and I lost my smell and taste, which it wasn't COVID because I tested for it. I thought, oh my God, I'm pretty sick. I got to test for it. It said it wasn't COVID. So, but this happened to me before, and I lost my smell and taste. And the same thing happened. I would go to drink something or eat something like hot wings, and it was just like I couldn't taste it. So I was like, well, this is a waste. I shouldn't be even doing this. It's a waste of money. So same thing happens this year. Excuse me. And I can't taste anything, can't smell anything. So I'm drinking good beers and whatnot and everything. And so I'm like, well, this is dumb. This is not what I should be spending my money on. So I switched over to cheap beer. I said, I'm only going to drink cheap beer, keep it inexpensive. Now, let me back up. Everything I'm about to tell you, I know, trust me, I know. I could just have everything stop and figure out a solution if I just said, oh, I'm just not going to drink anymore. I totally get that. I know you're going to be asking yourself the whole time, why didn't you just stop drinking? Well, that's a very good question. We're going to work on that. We're going to work on that later, but I just wanted to throw that out there so you understood that, yes, I am fully aware of that concept. So I just started drinking cheap beer. I'm drinking, Montucky Cold Snack. I'm drinking like Coors Banquet, stuff like that. So then I get gout, start getting gout in my feet. And I think I had it before. I went to Vegas one time. I got back, and 2 days later, I felt like my toe was broken. And I was like, oh, did I get hurt playing hockey? Did I do this? Did I do that? And it went away, and it was happening more and more. And I was like, oh, my foot's really killing me. And I couldn't walk, I was like the toe and top of the foot. I just couldn't walk. And I was like, I figured out I was getting gout. And I was like, oh, and I've got a pretty good diet. Like I'm not eating a lot of red meat, not a lot of stuff like that would cause gout. And I figured it's the beer. So this crappy beer, mass produced beer, was giving me gout. So I was like, oh, well, I can't have that because it's really hurts. If you ever had it, it really sucks. And so then I just started drinking nothing but IPAs or something that's not as mass produced, something that's, a micro brew, if you will. And so I started doing that and I found that, oh, this seems to have worked. This seems to have, I am not getting gout anymore. And if I had, tried to dip back into the cheap beer, I would feel it kind of flare up. So I was like, okay, obviously that's the case. Something in the mass produced beer. So I'm drinking nothing but IPAs. And then in I don't know, May or something like that, maybe the end of May or mid-May, I noticed that my smell changed. Usually I kind of have a little bit of a little bit of a stench, a little bit of ripeness. And it wasn't, it's just usual kind of BO. But now it smelled different. It smelled like fast food grease. It was really weird. So I'm trying to figure out if I'm dying or if something's wrong with me. And then I realize, oh, this is because of the beer I'm drinking. I'm drinking nothing but IPAs, because I'd go to Costco and they'd have like some IPA suitcase for super cheap. And I'd be like, well, shit, I'm going to buy that, And so I think something in my body started changing and it was producing this stink. So I stopped the IPAs. And lo and behold, like a week later, and this was still like drinking like I was like drinking like Budweiser or something, the smell went away, and I was relieved, and I haven't gotten the gout back either. So the experiment continues. It should continue for a while now, but we'll see. So if anyone's wondering what my smell was and why, that is why. So ideally we can try to keep the smell away, but if it comes back again and I'm not drinking IPAs, I think there's something else going on. Anyway, that's about my smell. That's about how I stink and how I've been smelling lately. I just wanted to get that out there and just make sure everybody understood. One thing that I kept noticing is that albums people would talk about albums that got released, X amount in history, and I thought I'd talk about a couple that were released this week in history. The first one, actually two of them, are by Judas Priest, and the first one was Painkiller, was released in 1990. It's 34 years ago. A very good, very kind of fast metal, a little bit of a change for them. But I think their first album, Rock-a-Rolla, was released in 1974, 50 years ago. And that's amazing. And that's got some really good tracks on it. It's got starts out with One for the Road, which is really funny because One for the Road is kind of like that old saying where somebody would be like, drinking somewhere and they'd be like, well, let me get one for the road. And I don't know if that meant they were just going to drink it there or they're going to take it with them. Different times. Someone I know had said that to someone recently, like, oh, do you have one for the road? And I was like, hey, buddy, we don't say that anymore. It's not, that's not what we do. But I think people were like, taking a beer with them. And they were like, hey, give me one for the road. And they would just drive home with the beer. That's like in the 70s. And we've obviously moved past that. Thank God, because we don't want that anymore. Now, the Belle and Sebastian, the boy with the Arab strap, came out in 1998, and that's 26 years ago, quite a while ago. That's a really good album. I guess I learned that an Arab strap is a dildo. I think I was told that, or I read that somewhere. But the other one that came out 42 years ago this week in 1982 was The Who, It's Hard. And this was like the last proper Who album before like they took a break for like 20 years. And I think this is the last one with John Entwistle on it, because he died in like early 2000s. This has Eminence Front on it, which is just a fantastic song. The album's not bad. If you like the Who, it's pretty good. Like you can kind of get into it. But it tends to, it's delving into the 80s a little bit. But man, once those keyboards start for Eminence Front, ooh, that's some good shit. So I got some other good ones coming up. I was just kind of looking up what was coming up, and we can have some fun with that in the near future. Not having fun, which I don't think I'll be having fun, is I kept seeing the I haven't watched it yet, but they're announcing that the new Joker movie, Folie à Deux, is coming out. I believe that means like the madness of two, because it's got Harley Quinn in it, and it's a sequel to the Joker movie that what's his name, Joaquin Phoenix, was in. And that's actually a very good movie. Let me check real quick, make sure nobody's sick. And you can comment too if you can figure that out. It shows up and I'll see it, unless you say something dumb, and then I'm just going to ignore it. So but the new Joker movie will come out, and it's Folie à Deux, and I think it should be called Folie à Deux. And that's my official title for it, because it's a musical, guys. And I'm like, really, a musical? You're going to do a musical? I'm pretty sure it's a musical, or I was told that it was a musical. But if you notice about musicals, they do not advertise that it's a musical. And why is that? Because musicals are the second lowest form of entertainment, next to conservative parody songs. And so that's really bad company to keep. I hate musicals. I'm not into them. So when I heard that Joker was going to be a musical, I was like, I'm out already. And if you notice, they do not show them singing in this. And Lady Gaga's great. She's talented. Sure, she does a great job singing in it. She's a decent actress too. But they like there was the Mean Girls reboot thing that came out and recently, and um, that was a musical, I guess. But if you watched any commercials, any trailers for it, they never show them singing. Why? Because they would immediately alienate like half the audience that would go see it. They want people to not know it's a music. If somebody's into musicals, they know that's a musical. They're going. But if someone doesn't, they just go, "Oh, Mean Girls. Yeah, I really like that Mean Girls that I saw before with Tina Fey. I'm gonna go see this." But then they get tricked into into like into going, and then they realize, oh, it was a musical. I don't know why they do it. It's really sad. There was a lot of TV shows that were doing this a little while ago where they'd be like a regular TV show, a comedy or whatever, and all of a sudden they'd be like, here's a musical episode. And it's like, no, thank you. I don't want that. I don't want any fucking musicals. So they're doing this to this. I'm guessing maybe there's somebody out there who's like, oh no, actually it's not a musical. They're doing like only 3 musical numbers. And it's like, even one musical number is way too much. I was just thinking of an example today in Billy Madison, the first kind of big Adam Sandler movie they did on his own. He breaks out in a song at one point in the movie, and it's funny and it works. And then they never go back to it, so it's not really considered a musical. But if they're going to make the Joker into a musical, I do not think I'm gonna be there. I think it's folie doo doo, and I'm not into it. I liked the first one. I thought it was good, and I was kind of excited that they would revisit it. But it's not good. We're not gonna go back to that. Football is back though, and I guess right now CU's getting hammered by Nebraska. And if you know me, not a college football fan at all. Actually, let me check this out real quick. And I think it's hilarious that CU's getting absolutely fucked over. It's great. College football sucks, and I could do a whole show on that. But let me just read you a little bit of what's going on. Missouri's beating Buffalo 31-0. Ohio State's beating Western Michigan 35-0. Tennessee's winning 20-3. Here's the good one. Clemson's beating Appalachian State 49-10. Boy, college football fever, guys. Catch it. It's really good stuff. So no, fuck college football. It's bullshit. And I hope CU loses. Not a Dion fan. I think I talked about this before. I'm obviously pleased that he's making college football nerds upset with some of the stuff he's doing. Oh, the Denver Post thing. Yes, I talked about that last week. But I also think it's hilarious that they're just getting creamed by Nebraska. So go Big Red, and I hope it continues to spiral down for them. But no, I'm talking about pro football, and our Denver Broncos are starting up, and we're all very happy about that. But I was thinking more about the Chiefs fans and the Chiefs, the guys who are in like media, like fantasy media, who are also Chiefs fans, and they can barely contain their smugness about how great the Chiefs are. And the Chiefs are great. It pains me as much as it pains me to say that. They're fantastic. Patrick Mahomes is great. And, I think if you could throw the ball as well as him to someone who's open all the time, you too would be a future Hall of Famer. But that's what he is. He's really good. I hope they don't win again, but they probably will, because they are that good. They kind of make everybody look silly. But the media members are the ones that are really kind of like smug about it, and except for Ben Albright and Brandon Spano, Chiefs fans to the core, and you don't really hear them talk about it, and I appreciate that, guys. I keep it up. We don't want to hear about it from you. But the rest of them are like barely contain their glee over it, and that's fine, man. Enjoy it while it lasts, because if you remember, the Patriots own the NFL for like nearly 20 years. They were just awesome. They just dominated, and those fans were really obnoxious too. And it was like, guys, is this ever going to end? And it did, obviously, once Tom Brady left. But think about that now, how dominant they were. But now they're awful, and nobody, it's almost like it didn't happen, which is awesome because that was really tough to live through. And I think, you know, the same thing will come eventually, and at some point the Chiefs will be bad again, and it'll be like all this never happened. So enjoy it while you can, man, because, you know, as a Broncos fan, we all know the pain of that. And you know, nobody cares that you know, they were so good for so long, but that's how it goes in the NFL. And I just want everyone to know that, you know, the good times will come to an end at some point. But you know, it's something that that everyone has a, what's the what have you done for me lately? And at some point, everyone's going to ask that about the Chiefs, and I can't wait for it. But speaking of Chiefs fans, the most famous Chiefs fan, as we know, is Taylor Swift, and she's back at it with her love of the Chiefs. Obviously, she's dating that lummox Travis Kelsey, which is fine. It's just a shame because, you know, Taylor's such a huge figure in society and in pop culture. If she just knew how big a chuds that the Chiefs fans were, you know, I think she would. I think she maybe, you know, might reconsider it a little bit. But obviously, she's there. She's like, I'm the best at what I do. The Chiefs are the best at what they do. It's just it's natural that they're together. She's going to ride that wave, and you know, and I don't think she really understands like how the rest of us feel, but that's okay. You know what? She can do that. And I just think that you know, maybe, you know, if that relationship goes south, I hope it doesn't. I'm not saying that, but you know, maybe she'll find a team that maybe more people can get on board with. And but I was just thinking about Taylor Swift, and, you know, she's always out doing her thing and everything. And I just always think about the people who are into her. And I get it with like kids and stuff, young people. That's all good. But I always see these people that they seem to have suddenly, like they're all of a sudden like they're laser focused on her, and that's fine. It's great. But it's people that, like, I never seen them mention music before at all. Just it's almost like they didn't know music existed until they got into TS. And that's fine. I want people to be into music. I think music is great, and if you're listening to music and you're enjoying it, it's fantastic. I just find it weird that there's a couple people, and they're adults, and they're like, all of a sudden they're just like so into it and they can't stop talking about it. And I'm just kind of like, you know, it's a little odd. Like, you never listened to music before till this. I'm happy for you, but you know, I think maybe you should branch out a little bit. You know, there's other music. They've made other music, or, you know, before and after Taylor came on the scene. So I think maybe, you know, you should check that out. It's like if I started talking about candle making, and and all of a sudden, I just couldn't stop talking about candle, man. I'm like, candle making rules. It's the best thing ever. Let's all get together, make some candles. Oh man, did you see the latest candle making video that got released? And everybody would just think, this is really weird that this guy's suddenly into candle making. He can't shut the fuck up about it. That's how I think of it. It's almost like it's like I know I've said people join a cult, and I've had Taylor Swift fans be like, oh hell yeah, fuck yeah, I would. Hey dummy, of course. All good. Just, you know, let's branch out a little bit. It's like when somebody said they said something about you know, oh, you're going crazy for Beyonce, but you're gonna really lose your shit when you see Tina Turner. And that was, you know, I thought, yeah, that's exactly it. But you know, God bless you. Keep listening to music. It's you know, it's good for you. Speaking of the ladies, I was thinking about the WNBA. And the WNBA is hotter than ever. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, they've really, you know, like gotten people super into the WNBA, and that is great. And they're playing really good ball. And I just thought, you know, if Denver had a team, I would be totally into it. I I will not watch the Rockies and will not follow the Rockies anymore. It's a waste of my time. And it's really kind of like a weird thing that, like, now I have this huge gap in the summertime. where I'm not, hold on. Mike's saying this is dark. Mike, this is not dark. This is not dark at all. This is enlightening. I mean, it says it's supposed to be dark, but it's not dark. So maybe the room is weird. I think my brother said it was like something about it looked like I was going to be talking about flat Earth and adrenochrome stuff at some point, which could happen. I mean, it's the night is young, and I have to talk about stuff, so I might get into that later when everyone's ready for it. Let's just put it that way. But no, I saw him at the NBA, and if Denver had a team, man, I'd be into it because that would be something I would watch over the summer because I'm not watching the Rockies. And man, if they had like one of those two gals playing for them, geez, man, I'd be way into it. It'd be great. I hope they get one soon. It'd be really cool. The last thing that I want to talk about, and I think once I can kind of get this down a little bit, I definitely have some people pop in and out because you got a guest and it kind of helps and you can bounce some stuff. And remember what I said before, you get a guest and you can enjoy a cool drink while they're yakking away. It really helps to, when in the it really helps when you're having the solo show. You can't really do that. So having somebody there helps to, you can bounce that off them. And then while they're yakking away, you have a little drink. So, but the last thing I'll talk about is there was the big indictment came down with all the MAGA chuds who were like big YouTubers, and it was revealed that all of their backing, all their salaries was because of the Russians. The Russians were behind it, and they were paying these guys. So dudes like Tim Pool, and if you know who Tim Pool is, he's the dude that's always wearing the beanie. Now, Tim, look, I'm a bald man. I wear hats all the time. It's like my hairdo. So I feel you there, but when you only wear the one hat and it's almost like it's glued to your head, that's very weird. I think that's very strange. And he always wears that. So I mean, he's going to go to prison, and he's going to have that hat on. I think they let him wear that hat. I have no idea. Anyway, so they said, "Oh, we didn't know anything about this." And I'm like, you know what? If someone showed up tomorrow and said, "Hey, I'm going to pay you $100,000 to do this dumb thing where you sit in your house and fucking talk about Taylor Swift and an album that came out 34 years ago," I think I'd ask a question. I'd say, thank you. That's awesome. I'll take the $100,000, but what's the deal here? And try to maybe wonder where that funding is coming from. But they apparently said, no, we didn't even think about it. Had no idea. And they really just kind of did their thing, and were getting paid by Russians to, essentially just kind of damage the country and say things that, that definitely divide people and make people, angry. And that's where a lot of their probably viewership came from, is people upset at what they have to say. And I just think that general disregard for the country, just for a paycheck, is pretty sinister. And again, I'll take the money and I'll say whatever you want. That's not a problem for me. I will I will definitely I will definitely say anything you want for that kind of bread. And that shows you exactly what they were thinking, because that's a lot of cash to be sitting in front of a microphone and talking about Obama being bad or whatever the fuck they talk about. I don't even know what they talk about. But there's a lot of dumb people on the internet, and they get rewarded for it. And like there's all the stuff, like if you in Instagram, there's all these people's accounts, and they're like talking about, there's like couples humor, and they're like, whoa, men do this and women do this, and it's so bad, but they have like thousands of followers, and they're getting paid for it, and it's just ridiculous. I just saw this thing today, and it was a guy, and he's like sitting in front of a USB microphone, talking very seriously about these topics, and he said, there's lots of movies about the Italian mafia, but there's none about the Jewish mafia in America. I wonder why that is. So of course he's getting to a point here where he's trying to like suggest that that part of American history has been covered up by Jewish people. And so, of course, everyone points out Once Upon a Time in America, which is a very famous movie. I think it's like Sergio Leone directed it, did The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Famous Italian director. Directed this movie about the Jewish mafia in New York. And someone was like, hey, man, this movie was about this. It was very famous. And he was like, well, not a lot of people have heard about it. I'm like, this is a dumb person. This is a dumb person who's sitting there getting paid because of the outrage. And that'll just show you that anybody will do anything for a buck. And that really is kind of the state of the world. And I'm fine with you getting paid, but if you're getting paid by Russians to make other Americans mad and create problems, then we've probably got a problem with that. So yeah, hopefully nothing but bullshit comes those people's way, and we'll see what happens in the future. So it's been about a half hour. I think I'm out of topics. This would be great, where you got a guest and you can have somebody chime in, and we can maybe talk a little further. Maybe we can stretch it out a little more. But this is just a little taste of what's to come, and I'll find more interesting and thoughtful things to say next time on Entry with your host, John Reidy. So until next time, I hope CU loses by a lot. I hope it's that Appalachian State. That would be freaking awesome. So, until next time, go Broncos.